So I'm taking a bit of a risk with the title of this one, and I'm calling it "Is the Nike Air Jordan 1 Low Silver Toe Really Going to Drop on March the 8th?" One of the problems with that is that I'm shooting this video on Saturday night. I think it'll go up on Sunday evening or maybe Monday evening, and by the time it actually goes up, the official drop date might have been splattered all over the internet, and then the title of this video doesn't make sense. But fortunately, it's not just, there goes my iPad, it's not just about the title of the video that we're in here. We're also in like a bunch of other stuff. It's not just about the drop date, it's also about the hits on the shoe, the important points on there, a couple of is white right points on the shoe, one at the top and one at the bottom, because there's two questions about that kind of stuff there. A little bit about what kind of damage these guys are going to suffer, because that silver on there is pretty spectacular, but spectacular often in shoes doesn't last very long. So there's a lot to talk about, not just that March 8th drop date, but much more than that. So we take a close-up look at the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 1 Low Silver Toe. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 sneaker channel. Tokyo Bara 23 sneaker channelです。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください。Every single day for 814 consecutive days, I bring you content from Tokyo, Japan about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news and sneaker reviews. And just before I started shooting this video, I did a quick bit of research. December 9th, 2018 was day one when I started doing consecutive daily content. Before that, it was like twice weekly content. And I haven't missed a single day in 814 days so far. And I'm hoping to get to 1,000 consecutive days and beyond. You know, I don't have any plans to stop doing daily content anytime soon. But it's cool that we went past that 800-day mark and keep on churning out the content. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Let's keep this thing going. And like I said, though, this is this Air Jordan 1 Low Silver Toe. There's a lot going on, a lot of discussions about it. That drop date is one of the main ones. A lot of the sites right now just simply say spring 2021 or something like that, or February 2021, whatever they're saying. This guy is scheduled for March the 8th, according to, I think it was Sole Supplier that I got that little bit of information from. You know, whether that's a UK site, if you don't know, Sole Supplier is a UK site, maybe they're scheduled to drop in the UK on March the 8th and nowhere else. But that's what the current status is, and maybe that's, you know, where maybe you're out there thinking like, you know, I already know the drop date on these guys, and he's totally wrong. Especially with that being the All-Star weekend, you've got the All-Star game I think on the 7th, and then the All-Star Dunk Highs on the 9th, and these guys sitting right between the two. So maybe it won't be that March the 8th because it's too close to the All-Star. But having said that, I'm calling this the 5th connection. I made a big connection between a bunch of shoes and that Dunk High barely green all-star sneaker video where we talked about I think it was the Dunk High carpet company that looked a lot like the Jordan 1 High University Blue, and then you had the Jordan 1 High patinas, which had a hint of green in them, which looked a lot like the Dunk High All-Star barely greens. And then we come along with these guys here, and they fit right in with that patina, with that metal feel for that Jordan 1. And so it feels like there's just an awful lot of commonality between the different the different shoes and the different brands out there right now. There's an awful lot of overlap, common features between all the different shoes, colorways and stuff like that. And this is another example of that. But it's also an example of a beautiful Air Jordan 1 Low, because they are hot right now. A lot of Jordan 1 Lows are doing really well, pushing the sales, dropping really fast, and being sold out really fast. And I don't think this one is going to be any different. It's a classic colorway that a lot of people will be thrilled to see in the low variant, and they're going to be selling these guys out as fast as hotcakes. So if you're interested, you're going to have to be really sharp to get your hands on these guys. Now, speaking of getting your hands on these guys, you want to know about it, you want to know the features of this. Now, I said at the top of this video, damage, and my main fear with damage on these guys is right here. That's the toe box on there, and already even in this promotional picture, this picture from Nike themselves trying to push their shoe, you can see that the toe box isn't as smooth and isn't as clean as you'd probably expect to see. It seems like there's a couple of creases or a couple of imperfections in there, and as soon as somebody wears these and then creases it up on their toe, I would imagine that's going to cause a lot of damage in there. It reminds me, only in damage, not in design, of the Air Max 90 Tokyos that dropped a couple of years ago now. I think it might have been early last year. or the year before, but a lot of people were talking about as soon as they wore them and creased them a little bit, the damage to the upper was quite substantial. And I've got to say, I'm sorry, but I expect to see that on these guys as well, especially on that toe box there. But I might be wrong, and I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But there are people out there that know these things instead of just think these things like me. And if you're one of those people, let us know in the comments down below, because we truly appreciate that. Now, I said, is white right? And I said it comes in two different places on the shoe. And the first place it comes on is up on the tongues there. So let's go have a look at the tongues, and also side by side with that, the insole. And the question that I have is about the whiteness of the Jumpman on the tongues. Now, as soon as I saw this, I would have just said silver or grey, but then I read and researched about it, and it said that it's actually white embroidered Jumpman on a black tongue there. This picture here is kind of inconclusive. I've got to go with what they're telling us and what the promotional materials say about it, so we can assume that it is grey, or not grey, I should say, it is white up there. But it did surprise me. So is white right? Part one is about the tongues and whether or not that Jumpman up there is in white or not. What is clear is a little bit back from that. It's not the greatest picture, but you can see the insole on there. I think I'm right in saying a black insole with a grey or silver Jumpman on there to represent the rest of the colour on these guys. So they've got it right on the insole, not sure about the white on the tongue. And then the second place where it is white right is kind of interesting. Now, I hope this shows up really nice on the green screen, because it's one of the best pictures of a Jordan midsole I've ever seen, and you can really see the repeating pattern that runs through it. It's not just a random sort of whatever it turns out like, let's hope for the best, but there's an actual pattern that repeats all the way through the midsole on Jordan 1s, and you can see it real cool, real close up on these guys. But again, the question though is whether white is right. Could they have gone with a different color on the midsole of these guys, since the top is such sort of a deep colors? The black is obviously as black as you can get, it's as dark as you can get, and then the silver itself is kind of a sort of deep silver. So I'm wondering if they could have gone with something like a light grey on the midsoles. But having gone with white on the tongues up there with the embroidered Jumpman, maybe they had to go with white on the midsoles to balance that out. What they definitely didn't do was go with anything other than black on the outsole. So let's have a quick look at the outsole here, and you can see front to back, full length, black outsole to complement the black parts of the upper on this shoe. And then the final thing to look at is to go around to the back of these guys and have a look at the Wings logo on the back. Obviously it's an Air Jordan 1, so the Wings logo is back there instead of being up in the ankle, which doesn't exist. And they've done their best to try and get this into the silver to match the rest of the colorway. It kind of seems a little bit duller and a little bit grayer than the rest of the silver hits on the shoe, but it's still very cool. Silver on black looks great, and of course the Wings logo always looks great, especially on the heel of an Air Jordan 1 low. So it's a great looking shoe. All in all, classic colorway coming out in that low silhouette, the low Jordan 1 silhouette. I'm sure, absolutely sure, this shoe is going to fly off the shelves and people are going to be super interested in this. So if you're one of those people looking to add this to your collection, or just add it to a shoe that you're going to wear, you're going to have to be real fast on March the 8th, we think, for the drop date. And if that changes, it changes. We talked in a video recently, I think it might have been the Dunk High Barely Greens for the All-Star, about how the drop dates are all over the place right now, and wouldn't surprise me if it wouldn't surprise me if March the 8th either doesn't come to pass, or it is what we expect it to be and they change it and postpone it, for example, to March the 15th, a little further away from the All-Star game. Okay, that's today's videos, guys. Video. I really appreciate you guys checking out the content, keeping it coming. I've got a couple of videos lined up already, 2 Air Max 90s. One's Tokyo Chicken, and the other one's Japan Rice Bowl. And then there's an Air Max 95 Japan as well in the works too. So some very Japan-centric shoes coming down the line over the next week or so. So a lot to keep an eye out for. But for now, it's time to sign off. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and I'll just do what I do at the end of every single video, which is remind you that I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.